Okay, so let's talk about the booster mileage. Um, as you know, conditions changed. If you watch the videos, you'll see that conditions changed. We ended up strapping Larry's big old, I don't know, there's probably 200-300 pounds worth of electrolyzer on the back of the Smacks mobile. And of course, he and his rider hitched a ride with me for the rest of the trip back. So the weight of the car, the drag of the car, didn't remain consistent, and also speed didn't remain consistent because while we were following Larry, or we were leading Larry, he couldn't go faster than 55. So for the first part of the trip, when I wasn't loaded down, I was getting better mileage just because we were going 55 miles an hour. I was getting 24 miles per gallon. Started off the trip before we went up with Larry. I was getting 22 miles per gallon from my 18 and a half base mileage. Um, so once we met up with Larry and we slowed down to 55, my mileage went up to 24 miles per gallon. Then when Larry broke down, or he didn't break down, but when Larry made the decision to leave his truck behind and load everything in the Smacks mobile, the mileage plummeted and it went back down. Some runs were as low as 15 miles per gallon. I did get one run up to 23 miles per gallon, but that was when we were in Virginia. There's a slight downgrade, and it was real cold. And I think that attributed to getting the mileage back up to where it should be. Matter of fact, that run is right here. That was that was basically the best run of the return trip. It was 23.08 miles per gallon. The worst run we had was in the heat of the day, and this is with the Smack booster off. Okay, we did runs with on and off, and I got 15 miles per gallon. Worst case scenario, Smack booster off, loaded down. Um, we did run right here. I'm showing you right here. This is the official document signed by my co-driver Steve, and also by Larry. Um, these two guys performed this test you see here in front of you. I was a passenger. These guys took the wheel. I let them fill the tanks, fill the tank of the Smacks mobile, and then they filled it so that the level, to be exact, it was coming out the tip of the tube. I mean, we filled it. So that there were, there was no, that was removing one variable. Also, the last two runs were ran late at night or early in the morning when it was real cool. The temperature was pretty constant. Cruise control set at 70 miles an hour. Windows up. No traffic. Flat grade. Okay. So the result of those runs, I have it here somewhere. Here we go. The first run, we went from 15 to 17.35 miles per gallon. That was a delta of 16%. And the second run went from 17 to 19 with a delta of 12%. So, under controlled conditions with the same weight, same drag, approximately same temperature, flat conditions, 12 to 16% improvement. The first runs are smack off, second runs are smack on. Okay, so all we did was hit the switch, and there you go. Just from hitting the switch, 12 to 16%. That 16% number right there, that's close enough to me for that 20%. And the reason why I say that is, the less efficient you are, the less improvement you're going to see. Now this is with the Smacks mobile loaded down, so the friggin' springs were just, we were bottoming out the springs. These guys can verify. Smacks mobile was bottoming out. Tires were occasionally touching the fender wells. It's already low. It was loaded down to the max, and we had that big, custom air wing on the back, being Larry's electrolyzer. So I didn't see my 20% increase due to the fact that we were running very inefficiently. I believe that if the Smacks mobile didn't have all that stuff strapped to it with all the with all the adults and all their baggage and everything, that it would have been closer to a 20%. So remember, you guys, the less efficient you run, the less of an increase from the Smack booster you're going to see. Why? Because the Smack booster puts out a given amount of hydroxy gas, no matter what you're running. So if you make what you're running less efficient, it's going to have less of an effect. And that's the plain and simple truth of the matter. So, even though you may smack your vehicle, listen, you still got to run smart. You still got to be easy on the pedal, drive efficiently. Use your brain. Don't beat on it just because hey, now I got a smack on my car, and smack says it'll give me 20%. If you start driving like a maniac, you're not going to get your 20%. Keep your driving habits consistent. Be smart. Don't floor it all the time. Uh, you know, don't make. Hey, when we were on the highway, we minimized our lane changes. All those things, all those factors add up. So there were the results from our official test runs, smack on, smack off, and I am very pleased with these results given the conditions. And the condition, we wrote all the conditions down here. You guys, I don't know if you can see it here, but you can scan down through, um, describing the conditions of the test run, date, and signed, and all that. So, and over here, this is the overall mileage results from start to finish. Um, I have receipts for 2,400 miles of it. The total trip was 3,400 miles. I think I lost some of my receipts, or I might have missed a few. But these are all the receipts I have here, and this is compiled onto this data sheet. So I've got individual mileage results. You can see there's one data point here that I'm not very happy with. Something I think I made an error of some sort here, because it's the lowest. I've never got that bad mileage with the Smaxmobile. So, but I'm still putting. You know what? The data's there. I don't know what happened, but I'm including it. So I'm not being exclusive. Not playing. Not. This is call them like you see them. So it was there. So I got to record it. So you can see the mileage. Remember I was saying 18.5 average. Okay, so there's a lot of 22s. There's some 23s in there. I think there's a 24. Okay, definite improvement. Overall, I just added up the miles and the gallons. So for the overall trip efficiency, even with all the variables, because half of this trip, over half the trip, was with extra people, having stuff strapped on the back, extra luggage. It wasn't a consistent run from start to finish. That's why we ran this control test, because those factors were removed for that portion of the test. But overall, 19.42 miles per gallon. So I did a percentage. That's a 5% increase overall. Not huge, but remember, a lot of that trip was spent with stuff strapped on the back, so it kind of skewed the results for the overall trip. I'm more interested in these results, in these test conditions, where all factors were eliminated or reduced as much as possible. So I'm sticking with these better results because we know what the conditions were. This overall result here, so many variables, traffic conditions, weight, as I've already discussed. So those are the results from the Smack Booster run. I'm real excited. You know what, guys? You're crazy if you don't smack your rig. I'm telling you. Buy one, build one. You're nuts if you're not smacking your rig. Get out there and do something, man, because the proof is in the pudding. This is for all to see. You hit the switch, you turn the smack on, you're going to get better mileage. And you know what? Almost no matter what, you're going to get better mileage. Every time I click that switch, even with all the varying conditions, I got better mileage.